So a guy walks into a barber shop in Vienna, Austria, true story, and he's been in Germany or in Austria for a couple months because he's trying to brush up on his language skills. Hair's getting a bit shaggy, so he's walking through the Jewish quarter of town, and he goes into the first barber shop he sees. Now he's thinking to himself, how do I say I need a haircut? Okay, he walks in and says proudly, "Ich brauche eine Beschneidung, bitte." And the guy looks at him, and everybody in the room busts up laughing. It's like, okay, I'll try it again. So he says it again, same reaction. He's okay. So the barber ushers him over to the chair with a smile, sits him down, gives him a haircut, all is well. As the guy's walking out, he's kind of proud of himself for having done this wonderful thing in a foreign country, but he's a bit confused about what happened. Not until later that night did he realize he was asking for a circumcision. Which explains the laughs of everybody when the barber said, "Do you want it long or short?" So, when I moved to Germany 4 years ago, I had limited German skills. I'd picked up some things in Vienna a few years back, but I had to learn it fast because my job there was working with a church, and I had to learn German, fit in, and start preaching and teaching in this church in German as soon as humanly possible. Oh, and on the side, I'm supposed to be a loving dad and a father, and I'm supposed to run a web design business as well. So during this time, I was actually able to pick it up pretty quickly and was doing some of this stuff within a year, the important stuff like talking back to the drunk guy on the bus. And I noticed some things that I think can help anybody learn just about any language, even Klingon, promise. And these are not hard and fast rules, but they're guidelines. The first one's the toughest one, and it is to be young. And if you are young, like my son here in the next photo, then you can learn a language quickly. And there is a reason for this, because your language is stored right over here on the left side of your brain, right in this little spot. And when you're young, the right and the left side of your brain work together to learn that language. But when you hit puberty, the left and right side of your brain quit talking to each other about this stuff, and so you only have a situation where it's kind of tough because you have just about half of a brain to do this stuff. And we all know that working with half a brain is difficult. So, step one, be as young as you possibly can, or get your kids to start learning language early. If not, if the ship has sailed, and for us it has, stop thinking. Now, you've got the more you think about a language that you're learning, the more difficult it's going to be to learn it. Because as I said, this is already concrete over here, and it's fighting against it's not going to help, so just let it be its own thing. When you learn a new language, your brain is creating new pathways and new thought processes it's never had before. And so you just have to let it create those processes. If you try to take the new language and shove it into an English framework, you're just creating a situation where it's frustration, and you're going to drive yourself crazy. I promise you. I know. And so just relax and start thinking in that language. And if you can do that, you're going to be a lot better off. And throughout all this, you have to immerse yourself. If you can immerse yourself, then that part of the brain where you stop thinking about English, you've got to fill it with something. Now, not everybody has the opportunity to move to another country for 4 years, and that's fine. You can do that here. As much as possible, find podcasts, find audiobooks, find friends who know that language and talk with them, and watch movies, whatever you can do to expose yourself to that language as much as possible. Because the thing is, the more you hear it, the more you are forced to speak it in multiple situations, the better you're going to learn it. And throughout all this, the most important thing is to completely lose your pride. You will make mistakes. You will sound like an absolute boneheaded idiot, I promise. And you just have to get over it. You have to learn to laugh with everybody else who's laughing at you. And I personally never made any mistakes like this that require laughter, but I can say, don't get stressed out if you ever do something like offer to take your neighbor's diarrhea out instead of their trash, or if you spend an hour long in a Bible study talking not about Noah's Ark, but about Noah's ass. Just don't worry, relax, and remember that learning a language is one of the best things that you can do for yourself.